Good morning, church. This is morning devotion. I'll speak on how the church is preserved for so many years. In a short, like in Acts chapter 20, verse 28 says, Paul is saying to the shepherds in verse 28, therefore take heed to yourself and to all the flock among which the Holy Spirit has made you overseer to shepherd the church of God, which he purchased with his own blood. So, more focus would be the blood of Christ has purchased the church. And as you know, like when you preserve a pickle, there are key ingredient, and because of those ingredient, like salt, vinegar, we can have those pickle for a long time. It remains for a long time, and it's so tasty. And like in every food you can have those mixture of pickle, but it's not spoiled because the good bacteria has been grown. Same thing, like if you look at like Jesus telling people, the believer, like you are the salt, you are the salt. Like even the fish is preserved because of salt. That fish can be survived, that in that atmosphere, because the salt is like has been helping in preserving that fish, and it doesn't spoil. In Matthew chapter 16, the verse like these gates of Hades will not prevail. The reason behind is like we know that Jesus is building the church, and therefore it's not going to be destroyed, because when Jesus makes the church, and when he is building, Satan and this demon world cannot overtake it, or cannot have a victory over it, because Jesus has already has had a victory on the cross for the church, because it's bought by the blood. It has been purchased by the blood. So that's a victory for the church, because of the blood which has been purchased, and that preserves church. That demon world cannot destroy church because of the purchase which is made by Jesus, and that preserves the church. And and in this 2000 year of church history, it has been for so many years, like we never heard that it's only the history, which means it's continuing, it's going on for 2000 years. It's not like in 400 AD and it was gone, like an empire. Like when you look at many empire change in this 2000 year, the kings came and went away. There is no more trace of their history so much. Not so many people talk about it. But then like church has been continued for so many years. Everything, people came and changed, and people are there, but then that the history of the church, God has preserved the line of church, the line of saints, has God has preserved for so many years through his power of his word and through his Holy Spirit. God has kept this church strong over the history of the 2000 year, the church age, the grace age. And you look at how God used the human fragility, like human failure. Man is weak and frail. God used those vessel, and God used those vessel, and He can preserve, isn't it? Because of the key ingredient is like Holy Spirit, power of the Word, and the purchase of the from the blood. That God has kept that. And next key ingredient, I believe, is like First Corinthians chapter 13. If you look at Paul, how he encourages church, that love which never fail, that love has kept the church going on. That unconditional love, the love which has patience, long suffering, doesn't boast and doesn't enjoys the evil, but then he that love is something which Jesus and the Holy Spirit is carrying within the church. So that is helping for the church to be stronger and stronger. Like if you look at Matthew chapter 7, where you see Jesus saying, if you listen to my word and do it, if you are the doer, then your house is on the rock, and anything comes against it, it will not be destroyed. But with the house which is built on sand, that is being destroyed. So hearing and obeying is a key ingredient for the church to be strong. Gospel is also is made as a church as a stronger, because you are going and getting the new people that were outcast, that were not even knowing God. They were dead. Now they are all made alive, and they join the saints of the church, and it brings great strength to the church. Lastly, the closing, if you look at like Song of Solomon chapter 2 verse 14, like like little even little fox can spoil the vineyard, even little leaven can leaven the whole lump. The carnality, the worldly behavior, the flesh, that can spoil the unity, that can spoil uh, the atmosphere. But then still that doesn't make any difference when God is working. uh, Even that flesh is against the spirit in Galatians chapter 5 verse 17. uh, but then God is preserving the church, and no one can destroy it when it is built on the rock, on Jesus, the right foundation. Then nothing can happen if it is on the right foundation, which is Jesus Christ, and the doctrine of uh, the doctrine which means the thinking with God. If it is built on that, it is stronger and stronger than ever, because the blood is there, Holy Spirit is there, power of word is there. And the people who are weak, like Jesus said, and to Paul, my grace is sufficient. When you're weak, then you're strong. If we understand grace, then it's stronger. So let's enjoy this fellowship among our saints, the church, and knowingly that it's a power of blood, power of Holy Spirit, power of word, which is preserving, which is protecting, and it's built on hearing and doing, loving, and grace. This all makes it strong. So thank you for listening. Yeah, amen. Have a good day.